How to make virtual instruments sound more realistic? The most important thing is the dynamic. For example, in this case I wrote this melody and I choose violins legato. I'm using Berlin Strings library because it's a very good library for strings. So now we have to write the dynamic, and we have two main ways to write the dynamic: velocity and modulation. We have to use velocity when we are using percussive notes or notes with a short value. For example, like spiccato or staccato or pizzicato. We have to use modulation when we are using notes with a long value, for example, like legato or tremolo. In this case, we are using violins legato, so we have to use the modulation, even if Berlin Strings gives you the possibility to choose if we want to use velocity or X-fade. X-fade is the modulation. We have to use X-fade or modulation in this case because it's much better, but we can use also velocity. With velocity, the results is not so good. Why? Because velocity gives you the possibility to choose to write the dynamic just at the beginning of the note. So, for example, in this case, I wrote 100 in velocity, and we can change the dynamic for the rest of the note's duration. If we use modulation, we have to change also here. We can do that. And this is the result. That is much better. So, because I'm using a violin's legato, even for the all other notes, we can use every time the modulation, and this is the sound. Okay, what if now I wanna add another articulation? I wanna play, for example, these notes with staccato. Well, we have to load staccato, double click, and can you see? As a default, Berlin Strings put velocity and not X-fade. Also here we can change X-fade or velocity, but because staccato is a percussive notes, the program put velocity because it's easier. So now we have two channels, channel 1 for the violin's legato and channel 2 we can choose here, and channel 2 for violin staccato. This means that we have to go here and choose any channel so that the track can read all channels that we are using. So now we have to go back here and take the notes that we wanna play with the articulation staccato, and we have to change the channel 2. So now the program plays this with legato because it's channel 1, and this with staccato, channel 2. Okay, now we have the dynamic just on the notes with the legato. We have to write the dynamic even here. And we can use, in this case, velocity. So, for example, and this is the sound.